You're sitting with your phone angled just right so the glare doesn't wash out the screen, thumb hovering over the little red dot that insists you look. The message is dressed like an announcement and a warning. At the same time, a promise, a deadline, a wink that you've been selected. For a second, your body responds before your mind does. A small lift in the chest, a quick tightening behind the ribs, the strange warmth of being noticed by something that doesn't know you. The room hasn't changed, but the air feels charged, as if you've been handed a secret you're not supposed to ignore. The core of it isn't the words, or the emojis, or the clock. It's the offer of meaning, without the work of making meaning. Chosen is a shortcut past doubt, past ordinary life, past the slow grind of uncertainty. It gives you a role in a story where you aren't random, you're relevant. The countdown gives the story teeth. Act now, or you'll lose your place. This is less about belief in the message and more about the sensation it produces. An instant frame that makes today feel different from yesterday and makes you feel different from the people who didn't see it in time. Under the hood, it's a neat psychological trap built from a few reliable parts. Scarcity makes attention sharper. Deadlines hijack the brain's priority system. Social proof hums in the background. Someone else posted it, others will respond. You're not alone in noticing. Variable rewards keep you hooked because it is coming soon is vague enough to let your imagination supply the best possible outcome. And identity is the glue. If you accept the label, you start protecting it. Once you're chosen, ignoring the message feels like failing a test you didn't ask to take. And that tiny fear is enough to keep you scrolling. Imagine a friend, Maya, who's been quietly stressed for weeks. She's not dramatic about it. She just has that tired focus that makes people think she's fine. At lunch, she shows you her phone and laughs like it's silly. But she's also waiting for your reaction. The message says if you saw it before 11:59 p.m., congratulations, it's coming soon. Maya says, what do you think it is? And already her brain is building options. Money, love, a job offer, a sign that the hard part is almost over. Later that evening, she checks her notifications more often than she admits, not because she's gullible, but because the message gave her something she doesn't usually get. Permission to hope without attaching it to a plan. The first false belief the message breaks open is the idea that hope needs evidence to be useful. It doesn't. Hope can be a drug as easily as it can be fuel. The belief it sells is subtler, that fate has a schedule and you can catch it if you're attentive enough. That's why the clock matters more than the promise. The timestamp converts a vague future into a task for your nervous system, a tiny alarm that says, stay alert because missing this would mean you missed your moment. From the outside, the behavior looks like obsession or superstition, and that's the easy read. Someone who forwards it to a group chat looks needy. Someone who comments, claiming, looks like they've lost touch with reality. But the outward behavior is often a misread expression of something quieter. The ache of being ordinary, the fatigue of doing everything right and still not feeling secure, the desire to be singled out in a world that treats most people like background noise. When you're craving control, even a flimsy ritual can feel like steering the wheel, and rituals spread because they're contagious in the exact way stress is contagious. Here's a counterexample that makes the whole thing wobble. Think of someone who truly has their life moving, maybe a colleague who just landed a solid contract, or your cousin who's finally stable after years of messy work. When they see the same message, it barely lands. They might smirk, maybe send an eye-roll emoji, and move on. Not because they're bad, but because they already have a timeline that belongs to them. Their future isn't a lottery ticket. It's a set of dates on a calendar, a budget, a conversation they're having in real life. The message can't offer them what they already own, a sense that their next step is connected to effort and choice. The contrast isn't between believers and skeptics, it's between two behavioral postures. In one posture, you lean toward the world like it's a slot machine, pulling the handle with attention and waiting for the lights to flash. You interpret ambiguity as possibility, and you treat urgency as destiny. In the other posture, you treat information like a tool. You ask what it is, who benefits, what it costs, and what action it actually requires. One posture makes you reactive and porous, the other makes you selective. The message is designed to reward the first posture, because the more reactive you are, the more your attention becomes currency you spend without noticing. There's nuance, though, and it's important because the temptation to mock this stuff is its own kind of laziness. Sometimes a person shares that message, not because they believe it, but because they want to belong, or they want to soften a heavy day with a little theatre. Sometimes it's a test. Will anyone respond? Sometimes it's a harmless game, a way to flirt with luck when you don't have energy for deeper conversation. And sometimes the feeling it triggers, being chosen, being on the edge of something, exposes a real need that deserves respect. The need isn't for a mystical countdown, it's for recognition, stability, and a future that doesn't feel like an accident. If you keep the message in your mind long enough, it starts to reveal what it really is, a mirror held up at the exact angle that makes your hunger look like prophecy. The deadline isn't a doorway, it's a leash. The congratulations aren't proof. They're bait. Whatever is coming soon is almost never a gift arriving from the universe. It's the next wave of your own attention being pulled forward. Again, into a story that costs you time and returns you nothing but the sensation of almost